Wonderful evening to you, and thank you for joining us on the Atlantic Television Global News. First, the headlines. NAF raises illegal refining site in River State. ABGA supports OT on abolition of ex-governor's pension. FG declares Friday, Monday public holidays. Group lost Tinubu CBN for stabilizing Naira monetary policy. President Tinubu congratulates Senegal's president-elect. Victor Osimhen prepares for Atlanta clash. Plus, actor Osita Iheme speaks on circulation in social media. My name is Angel Wukoma, and now the rest of our stories. Discovered at Bail Dariama Elem Bekirinkri Te Makiri, Opumakiri, and Degema, all in River State, while a barge filled with illegal refined products was observed meandering through the creeks at Bail. Kwabet said at Dariama and Tumakiri, active illegal refining sites with reservoirs and cooking ports were identified and subsequently engaged and destroyed. Elder statesman and national leader of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, Chief Edwin Clark, has condemned the military raid on his counted how he was expected to be linked to the killing of 17 soldiers in Okwama following a call from a person identified as the commanding officer, Nigerian Army Division in Port Harcourt. Apologizing on behalf of the army for the raid, the statement said the military men arrived in 5 trucks loaded. These are the bearers. Edo State government says it has secured 40 new lands. National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it will publish the personnel particulars of candidates for the Edo State governorship election on Saturday. INEC National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Votes, while one of the suspects was captured during an operation in the Ikotegbene local government area. The police public relations officer, CPS Odiko McDonald, said that robbers were intercepted during an attempt to rob the National Museum in Ikodo, Inya, and neutralized 3 in a gun duel. He also said a locally made pistol, 1 expanded and 1 live cartridge, and vandalized wire cables, among other items, were recovered from them. Nigerian Navy Forward Operating Base Ibaka in Akwa Ibom has arrested a suspected oil theft and en route to Cameroon with 15,500 liters of suspected premium motor spirits. The commanding officer, Captain Uche Aneke, who disclosed these at Ibaka while handing over the suspect and the seized products to the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, said that the suspect was arrested with the exhibit after the Navy received an intelligence. Arrested at the Labour Party National Convention, and journalists were barred from entering the Grand Season Hotel in Nnewi, Anambra State, venue of the Labour Party's National Convention. This is coming after there was a heavy security presence at the hotel and the crisis on the party. A spokesman of the party, Obiora Ifo, despite urging the security to allow journalists with tags access into the venue, was rejected. The hoodlums were arrested for this trying to cause crisis at the ongoing convention. Elders of the All Progressive Congress in Ondo State have called on Governor Lucky Ayotadatiwa to investigate the circumstances that surrounded the death of one of the governorship aspirants of the party, Dr. Paul Lekon, alleged a threat to his life. Other than that, he would not be intimidated by any threats. The chairman of the Ondo APC Aborigines and former Nigeria ambassador to Togo, Shola Iji, who spoke after the meeting, expressed sadness over the death of the late medical doctor, said the purpose of the meeting was to announce the preferred candidate of the group among the over 15 governorship aspirants jostling for the ticket of the party. But the meeting was postponed to a later date to honor the deceased aspirant. And devastating, while a statement by his chief press secretary, Mr. Ebenezer Adeniam, sympathize with of the state. About 6 farmers of the tea extraction have been killed by unidentified gunmen in the Kadako community of Kiana local government area of Nasarawa state. This is coming after thousands of tea farmers in the southern part of the state have been displaced following persistent attacks on their houses and farmlands by suspected herdsmen in the area. While the other 3 farmers were shot by the gunmen, a association in Kadako, Dennis Usa, said the gunmen had invaded Say Abiru Aza area of Kadako during the weekend and unleashed mayhem on the people of the area. Other than that, apart from the 6 farmers killed by the bandits, many survivors of the attack had escaped into nearby bushes in the community with bullet wounds. On his part, the president of Tea Development Association and the state, Solomon Chukun, decried the situation and called for the urgent intervention of the state government to restore normalcy in the area. Benue State University Teaching Hospital, Marukudi, has buried the 74 unclaimed corpses in its morgue. The 74 unclaimed corpses were evacuated and buried by the men of the Benue State Sanitation Agency. Governor Hyacinth Alia of the state, who gave the order for immediate evacuation and burial of the corpses, expressed appreciation to Alia for his prompt action that necessitated the quick disposal of the bodies, most of which have been in the mortuary for up to 5 years. Chief Medical Director of Besut, Dr. Terungwa, I said the dangers posed by the corpses to the hospital community, which includes serious public health hazards, as potential sources of the epidemic, as mutant disease could have emanated from them, while urging the hospital to follow due process in ensuring the evacuation of the corpses, as adverts were placed in the print and electronic media. Dr. Wande also said letters were also written to security and other relevant ministries and agencies to perform their respective roles in the evacuation and burial of the corpses. Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit says the indigenous people of Biafra has raised over $160,000 through monthly dues and crowdfunding efforts. The intelligence unit said the sophisticated financial network of the IPOB is linked to 54 individuals around the globe, while a detailed investigation into the financial operations of the IPOB revealed that the diaspora affiliate of the group are spread across 22 countries. The report identified 27 entities globally registered under the group's name, with the highest number of registration in the United States and the United Kingdom, having 7 and 6 respectively. Other than that, several bank accounts in different countries were found to be receiving funds for various pretexts, such as monthly dues, services, and for ESN from numerous contributions. Nigerian Guild of Editors had urged the government at all levels to step up efforts in addressing growing security challenges across the country. A communique issued and signed by the NGE President, Mr. Eze Anamba, and the General Secretary, Dr. Iyobosa Ugugerian, after the Forum Standing Committee meeting held in Enugu, described the recent release of students of Lee Primary School and Government Secondary School in Kuriga, Chukun local government area of Kaduna State as a good development. The guide also called on the federal government to speak out on the editor of First News newspaper, Shangu Olatunje, who was abducted from his Lagos home by some men in military uniform, and described the recent ambush and killing of 17 military personnel in the Okwama community in Delta State and the aftermath of the alleged military's revenge as disheartening. It called on the federal government to dig deep into the killings of soldiers in Okwama and unravel the real circumstances in which the incident and its aftermath occurred, with a view to bringing those indicted to book and preventing a recurrence, stressing that the rising cost of living in the country, which saw Nigeria's headline inflation rate increase from 29.90% in January to 31.7% in February, and attributed the current harsh economic space to the worsening security situation, as well as removal of subsidy on petrol and the devaluation of the naira following the unifying of exchange rates. Federal government has declared Friday, March 29 and Monday, April 1, 2024 as public holidays to mark the celebrations of 2024 Good Friday and Easter Monday respectively. The Minister of Interior, Olubumi Tunji Ojo, made the declaration on behalf of the federal government in a statement by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Aishetu Ndayako, and urged Niger Christians and all Nigerians in general to emulate the sacrifice and love displayed by Jesus Christ in dying for the redemption of mankind. The minister called on Christians to imbibe good gospel virtues capable of impacting positively on the socio-economic development in Nigeria by fostering unity, reducing conflict, and encouraging cooperation among Nigerians. He also urged Nigerians to show acts of charity and generosity to help alleviate the material conditions of the less privileged amongst them. National Chairman of All Progressive Congress, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, has sworn in a 6-man committee comprising 6 governors to coordinate the party affairs in their various geopolitical zones. The 6 governors were officially inaugurated by Ganduje at the APC national headquarters in Abuja. Was Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Cross River State Governor Basi Out, the Kwara State Governor Abdul Rahman Abdul Razak, as well as Kaduna State Governor Ubasani and the Yobe State Governor May Malabuni. After their oath-taking ceremony, the APC national chairman said the governors have the mandate to initiate periodic interfaces with the other members of the Progressives Governors Forum. Otu will be in charge of South, while Abdul Razak, Sani, and Buni will coordinate the affairs of North Central, Northwest, and Northeast regions. Responding on behalf of the governors, Governor Uzodinma promised they would not fail the party in the assignment given to them and expressed delighted that the party in its wisdom introduced this new policy of properly coordinating the party. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network, where we will be back after this short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now, the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu says henceforth kidnappers involved in terrorism will face same penalty. Tinubu discloses in this at a Ramadan dinner with members of the Federal Judiciary led by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola. The dinner was attended by 7 and retired judiciary officers, including 2 former CJNs, Justice Mahmood Mohammed and Justice Walter Onogen. Chief Whip of the Senate, Mohammed Ali Ndume, has called on the federal and state government to subsidize Hajj fees for first-timers intending to go to the Holy Land. Ndume, who represents Borno South Senatorial District, stated this while reacting to the increase in Hajj fees by the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, while describing it as unfair and a deliberate plan to deny Nigerian Muslims, especially first-timers, the opportunity to participate in the exercise. Reacting in a statement in Abuja, the lawmaker said NALCON cannot ask intending pilgrims who earlier paid their old fees to pay an extra 2 million naira a week to the end of registration. Other than that, the 5 pillars of Islam, which are Shahada, Salah, Zakat, Swam, and Hajj, were reasons Muslims embark on the holy pilgrimage to Mecca. NACON spokesperson Fatima Sanda Usara in a statement declared the new rate adjustment of 1.4 million naira to a dollar, while about 49,000 intending pilgrims under the public quota had earlier paid the sum of 4.9 million naira to the commission when the naira was still at 897 naira to a dollar at the banks. Ndume called on President Bola Tinubu to approve a subsidy for the Hajj fees to enable first-timers to embark on a trip to the Holy Land. And now we are moving on to the business news. Independent Media and Policy Initiative says the fiscal and monetary policy authorities in Nigeria have found a way of setting the economy on a path of resilience. A statement said its chairman, Niyi Akinsiju, commended President Bola Tinubu and the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Yemi Kadoso, for policies that are addressing the supply and demand sides of the foreign exchange markets. Other than that, one of the profound policies introduced to the market on 31st January is in the graduated steps to take charge of the markets, as well as the administrative admonition to Nigeria's deposit money banks to bring their net open position to the prudential limit by 1st January 2024. It also said the CBN's net open position mandate to the banks implies that no bank holds a 20% long position and hold more foreign currency assets than liabilities by more than 20%. While the strategic objective of this mandate was to get the banks to start offloading into the open markets about $7 billion they kept in long currency positions, that was a maneuver to address forex supply side concerns. President of the Nigerian American Chamber of Commerce, Mrs. Adebola Williams, says the Chamber's dedication to fostering the growth of small and medium enterprises to ensure their sustainability and compliance with international standards. She disclosed this during the forthcoming 2024 edition of the African Foods and Product Exhibition themed Actualizing Sustainable Economic Growth. Think Global, Be Local, which is scheduled to take place in April in Lagos. Other than that, the focus is on SMEs and micro enterprises, providing platforms for business connections, profile building, and exploring global opportunities for the transformation of Nigerian products into finished goods for exports, aiming to maximizing revenue. Acting Director General of NAC, Mrs. Wofai Samuel, said it will enable Nigerian businesses and SMEs across Africa at large to foster partnerships with similar businesses operating across their niches, connect with importers, producers, suppliers, distributors, and retailers. On its part, the chairman of the African Food and Product Exhibition Committee, Ayo Stoffman, said the exhibition will be a platform for Nigerian businesses, both members and non-members, to showcase their products. Minister of State for Environment, Dr. Isiaq Salako, says the ministry, through the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, will be commencing periodic review of the plans of international and indigenous oil companies to ensure they stay on course to end routine gas flaring by 2030. Salako, who disclosed this in Abuja, said the National Stakeholders Engagement Meeting on Methane Mitigation and Reduction in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. Methane, a potent greenhouse gas with significant warning potential compared to carbon dioxide, poses a major threat to the health and well-being of current and future generations and climate protection goals, and while reducing methane emissions, especially 1.5% by the Central Bank of Nigeria will further accelerate the country's inflation and lead to massive jobs cuts across the country, private sector's operators. The Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture and the Nigerian Association of Small-Scale Industrialists explained that the increase in MPR would worsen the private sector's ability to access affordable credits and describe the interest rate hike as a move that would come with unintended negative consequences. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry said the MPR hike was a price that businesses would have to pay given the current state of the economy. The CBN Governor Yemi Cardoso, who disclosed this after the second Monetary Policy Committee meeting for this year in Abuja. Other than that, the new rate was focused on reducing current inflationary pressures and ensuring sustained exchange rate stability. Federal government says about $5 billion worth of investment are expected in Nigeria from oil and gas companies in 2024. It discloses during the ongoing oil and gas sector retreat organized by the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources in Abuja. Other than that, efforts are being intensified to make the operating environment conducive for investors. Minister of Commerce for Petroleum Resources, Oil Henike Lukwabiri, said one of the key mandates of his ministry was to ramp up crude oil production and that it was important for the country to attract investment in order to achieve this, stressing that the FMPR was working with these agencies and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited in particular to meet this goal. Commenting on the vision of the oil firm in the next decade, Kari said NNPCL visions in Nigeria propelled by the oil and gas industry through the monetization of our vast 203 trillion standard cubic feet gas resources, increasing crude oil production to 3 million barrels per day and raising domestic refining capacity to over 1 million barrels per day. He also said expanding the retail network to over 1,500 stations across sub-Saharan Africa, a renewable energy portfolio, and optimizing dividend payouts to shareholders. National Union of Pensioners Contributory Pension has adopted the contributory pension scheme as the best option to the pension administration. The pensioners spoke during a visit to the Chief Executive Officer, Pension Fund Operators Association of Nigeria, Oguche Aguda in Lagos. Chairman of the NUPCS, Silva Nwiwu, said the contributory pension scheme is framed in the best interest of pensioners. If well implemented, other than that, there are aspects of that can be improved upon and called on the pen-up boards to engage with other stakeholders to ensure they are secured. Aguda said the industry exists because of the pensioners and workers and commended the pensioners for their commitment to the country and their organizations in their twilight era, stressing that the pension industry and the country still needs tap from wealth of experience that they have gathered over the years while assuring the pensioners of the pensions industry commitment to pensioners' welfare. You are still watching the Atlantic Television Network News. Up next is the international tidbit. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Bassirou Faye on his election as the President of the Republic of Senegal. Tinubu's congratulatory message was contained in a statement by Ajuri Ngelale, a presidential spokesperson. Other than that, President-elect Faye comes with great promise and a sterling record, wishing him success as he takes on the critical job of leading Senegal. The president also congratulated President Macky Sall for overseeing an election widely judged by peaceful and transparent, stressing that the success of the presidential election in Senegal and the successful conduct of the general election in Liberia a few months ago had affirmed his long-held conviction that the taproot of democracy is deeply established in West Africa and will only grow stronger by good governance, justice and fairness to all. Tinubu said, as the chairman of the Economic Community of West African States, the president affirmed that the Senegal election was successful and boasted the sub-regional organization's efforts to promote peace and constitutional order and strengthen ties among member states. Now, before we go on, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take the stories on Israel and Hamas. Okay, glad to have you back. Now we take the stories on Israel. Israel says Hamas' rejection of a current proposal for a Gaza truce deal with Israel shows the damage done by the UN Security Council resolution demanding an immediate ceasefire. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said Israel would not surrender to what it called the Palestinian armed groups' delusional demands as an end to the war and the complete withdrawal of respect, and insisting that Hamas' response had been prepared before the Security Council vote. The Israeli military, meanwhile, said it had confirmed that the deputy leader of Hamas military wing, Marwan Issa, was killed in a strike on a tunnel complex beneath a Nuseirat refugee camp about 2 weeks ago. While spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said Marwan Issa was eliminated in the strike. Investigators have boarded the container ship which crashed into a bridge in the U.S. city of Baltimore and recovered its data recorder, while 6 people are feared dead after the collision involving the sinkable flag Dali, which struck the Francis Scott Key Bridge as it left. One of the missing has been named as Miguel Luna, originally from El Salvador, who was working on the bridge at the time of the crash before the bridge snapped and plunged into the Patasco River after the Dali container ship crashed into it. The vessel had lost power and issued a distress call moment before, but was traveling too quickly to change course. While President Biden has said the U.S. government would cover the entire cost of rebuilding the bridge. And now we are moving on to the sports news. Victor Osimhen is set to recover in time for Napoleon's Sierra home clash. Clash against Atlanta this weekend. Nigeria didn't feature in Napoli's 1-1 draw with Inter Milan before the international break due to fitness concerns. Osimhen also pulled out of Nigeria's squad for the friendlies against Ghana and Mali in a bid to regain full fitness after he was involved in partial team training at Napoli's Konami Training Center. The forward is expected to be named in the Partenope squad for the game, while Osimhen has scored 11 goals in 17 league appearances for the reigning Serie A champions this season. And Napoli will host Atlanta at the Diego Armando Maradona Stadium on Saturday. Nigeria's nationwide League One side, Ikukwama FC, has created a major upset in the 2024 Federation Cup preliminary round after eliminating Heartland 4-3 on penalties. The Naza Millionaires, who are battling relegation from the Nigeria Premier Football League, were probed out of the competition on penalties, and the game ended in a 2-2 draw in regulation time. Christian Obi's side will shift focus to their NPFL campaign, while Heartland will face Bayelsa United in their next NPFL game. The encounter is billed for the Samson Siasia Stadium, Yenegua, while they are bottom of the NPFL table with 23 points from 27 games. Arsenal are contemplating a summer swoop for Sporting's rising star Osman Diomande to catch the attention of scores during a visit to Access Victor. Performances on the field. Victor, a key target for the Gunners in the upcoming transfer window, has dazzled with his striking prowess, amazing and impressive 36 goals in 39 matches across various competitions since his 17 million euros acquisition from Coventry City. The Swedish sensation showcased his talent in a recent 6-1 demolition of Benfica, notching a hat-trick while Arsenal's squad closely observed, while Arsenals are contemplating a summer swoop for Sporting's rising star, catching the attention of scouts during a visit to assess Victor performances on the field. Victor is a key target for the Gunners in the upcoming transfer windows, has dazzled with his striking prowess, amassing an impressive 36 goals, like I said earlier, in 39 matches across various competitions since his $17 million acquisition from Coventry City. The Swedish has showcased his talent in a recent 6-1 demolition of Benfica, notching a hat-trick while Arsenal's scores closely observed. And now we are moving to the entertainment news. Veteran Nollywood actor Osita Iheme says seeing people using clips and pictures from his old movies to express themselves on social media makes him feel fulfilled. Popo, as he is fondly called by fans, added that he derives joy from people using his memes, stressing that it shows how timeless his talent is. He spoke in a recent interview with Nest Culture. He also said it is good to see his works doing well and people appreciating what has been done in all these years. Veteran Nollywood actor Osita Iheme says seeing people using his clips and old pictures from his old movies to spread themselves on social media makes him feel fulfilled, like we said earlier. Popular Nollywood actress Beverly Naya has explained her contemplate to quit acting. The movie star shared that a blog post damaged her self-esteem and almost made her give up her career. She also said since then she had won an international award and the blog no longer exists. And that's it on the global news for tonight. Before we go, let's take another look at the major